Hello everybody, Marty McConnell, the off-grid gecko here, and down here at one of my favorite spots on the property. This is down in the bottom land, and there's a little creek behind me, which sometimes turns into a big creek when it rains, but I'm going to see what kind of trouble I can get in today. I've got a couple reasons that I'm down here, mostly just to kind of sort of take the afternoon off a little bit and relax a little. I see my little barn down here is falling apart, but I never use it for anything, so I may take a gander around in there, see if I can do some repairs. But I'm going to be looking for some willow trees, which if I find some, I'm going to transplant cuttings onto that bank over there. I wanted to check and see if this power pole was still here, and apparently it is. Power company's supposed to be coming to knock this down because it's not used for anything. So one check accomplished. And then I'm going to be looking for some rocks to maybe do like a axe handle type deal for a video. Show you how to make an axe out of rocks. And I'm also just looking to see what kind of random plants are around. So there's a little dead nettle right here. Most people don't use these for much. If you make a tincture of these, I found that it can increase your concentration a lot, like 10 drops a day or something in the morning. It's good stuff. I don't know if it worked that way for anybody else or not, but that's what it does for me. So kind of looking around, seeing what plants are sprouting up. It's springtime, and hopefully that'll help me identify a couple of trees down here. We also just had some thunderstorms, so I'm going to keep my eye out for morel mushrooms because those are really tasty, and even though I'm not a big mushroom person, I know there's some people in town that would really appreciate them, so I might just gather up a sackful for them. I'm also going to be scouting for clay deposits over here, and I might just fiddle around in the sand for a while and look for gold nuggets. You never know. This is calcium carbonate or chalk. So you can spot chalk because it's easy to write on stuff with it, and when you pick it up, it feels not necessarily smooth, but really hard or really soft in the hand. And it's usually a bright white color. So when you find some, it's like this. It just kind of stands out among the other rocks here in the stream. And some of this looks like it might be like a lower quality, like a little bit harder maybe. It still writes good. But these really soft ones make like a different sound when you scratch them, and they're really, really soft. So I might sort these into different qualities, because this is stuff that's good for the lime kiln. These little rocks, when you burn them, they're calcium carbonate, so they burn and produce calcium oxide, which is lime or burnt lime. And then when you drop this stuff in water after it's been properly cooked, then it will make slake. You slake it, so the rock will basically fall apart and turn into a powder, and that powder is hydrated calcium hydroxide. Basically, it's hydrated lime or slaked lime, which is good for tanning and a million other purposes. Here's a neat little nugget. It's got a lot of quartz in it, but it's got kind of a cool pattern, maybe like a little fossil or something. I don't know. I'll put that here on my rock. There's also a bunch of pieces of slate down further that are sort of broken up, so I might see if I can break one free, and then I can use that for like a shelf for the kiln. I don't know if it'll crack under fire or whatever, but again, it's worth a shot. And if it's a good slate, then it'll be, it basically formed from being heat treated and cooled, and it didn't crack during that process of being lava. So we'll see. So this is the causeway. As you can see, the slate rock here, or bedrock or whatever, has been worn away a little bit of time. So there's like boulders, and there's little chunks of rock like this. There's all kinds of crevices and cracks. So maybe if I go on a little gold finding expedition or whatever, I might go looking through here for like little pieces of iron. There's a little tiny chip at a chert. So all kinds of stuff will gather in these cracks, because when the water gets high and it flows over this, stuff just falls into these crevices. And this entire hillside is basically made out of this stuff. It's pretty hard, pretty durable. It seems, at least, to be pretty durable. That piece isn't coming loose easy. So anyways, there's this big slab of this over here. And this is like maybe an inch thick. And it's moving. So it's obviously loose somewhere. If I can crack a wedge underneath here and like lift up on this, this might make a really nice little table for the kiln. Amazing what you can use a little stick for. That's coming. Oh, yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Uh-oh. This might be mostly sandstone. See any noticeable cracks in it. Let's see if it's strong or not. Not very strong. But it may be fireproof. I don't know. Either way, that could be an interesting little addition to my kiln. I'm definitely sure that I want this. So I'm taking this. This is mine. Ugh. So you don't just find nature things out in the woods. Sometimes you find, looks like part of a brake drum for a wheel. Maybe it's just a wheel hub. Either way, a big heavy chunk of iron just laying right here in the middle of the little stream here that's dried up. I'm half tempted to tote this up and find something to do with it, but the rest of me says leave it here to sort of mark this location. So right here is, and I'm not saying there's any gold in this stream worth collecting, right, but I think it is kind of fun every once in a while to come down and run a pan and see what I find laying down here in the muck. There's another little piece of metal. There's a medium-sized rock. There's a great big chunk of rock. There's a whole bunch of little sand and gravel that's all different sizes, from the tiniest all the way to the biggest. Now what I'm told is, and here's a piece of barbed wire, okay? What I have picked up from these gold panning guys is that places that drop all different sizes of stuff like this, and especially places that drop heavy things like iron, is a good scouting place to get like a pan, to get some dirt for panning purposes. You might be able to find some cool stuff in there, like little gemstones or little tiny specks of gold or silver or whatever. That pretty much concludes the nature walk for today. I realized I didn't shoot this part of the video, so I actually did the nature walk yesterday, and I promised myself that I wasn't gonna do anything super strenuous to my back today because it's kind of hurting and I gotta be back at work on Monday. So behind me, you can't see it, I've got the kiln started up again, so basically building it up with rock this time and using mud to kind of secure the rocks in place, and it survived the first test firing just fine. So I'm going to continue like that. I'm hoping to make a shelf out of these guys, and yes, I got it up without breaking it, other than the piece that I broke off while I was down in the holler. Is this piece, and this actually, that's actually just a tad narrow for what I need. So I will probably try and split this somehow into chunks and maybe stack it so it's a little thicker and, you know, maybe a little better able to withstand what's going on. But really it just has to support its own weight. So the pottery that I'm putting on here is not going to be that heavy. So got that going. I never did get my daffodils, but I might go down there and grab them tomorrow or something. The weather's supposed to clear up, and I learned a lot from sitting and sanding a rock down, basically, to try and make a primitive tool. And so even though I'm not going to be doing an instructional video on that right away until I get the hang of it, I will be doing a video on kind of the physics behind it, because it's different than what I expected it to be. I hope you liked the video, and I hope you want to check out some of my other videos. And if you want to, go ahead and hit that little subscribe button down there in the corner. You'll help me out like tons, and I'll keep making videos because this is what I like doing out here. So all I got to do is tilt the camera around behind me, basically. Ooh, what am I up to today? Marty and his crazy antics. Anyways, I will see you later. And, yeah, that's it. Keep living the dream, man. Keep living the dream.